Hello, my dear grade 9 learners. Are you done watching the first video about angles of elevation and depression? If you haven't watched it yet, make sure to watch it first before this video. Once again, I am Teacher Blas and I'll be your teacher for the second video lesson. In this video, we will be discussing problems on angles of elevation and depression. Are you ready? Come on! Let's begin with our lesson objective, and that is to solve problems involving angles of elevation and depression. Before we are going to proceed with word problem, let's have first a short review on one of the lessons discussed in your module number 1, and that is your right triangle. When we say right triangle, that is a triangle with a right angle. And when we say right angle, that measures 90 degrees. I want you to check on this illustration. And this is your triangle ACB with angle C as your right angle. In this triangle, we have also three sides. We have the side A, the side B, and the side C. Now, how do you call the longest side in a right triangle? Here, this is what we called our hypotenuse. And the two shorter sides are what we called, very good. These are your legs. Now, I want you to check on this right triangle. Take note, the longest side is always your hypotenuse. And in this illustration, the longest side is the side opposite to your right angle. And that is your side C. Now, the two shorter sides are the legs, and it could be your adjacent side or opposite side, and it depends upon your angle of reference. Now, when we say angle of reference, it could be any of the acute angle that you can see in the given right triangle. And in this illustration, it could be your angle A, angle B, in this case. Now, suppose that we pick angle A as our angle of reference. So we are going to focus in this angle. Now, we are asked to find the hypotenuse. Take note, hypotenuse is the longest side. So that would be your side C. How about your opposite side? Now, when we say opposite side, that is the side atbang to your reference angle. This is your reference angle here. Therefore, the side opposite to that is the atbang side, which is your side A. And when we say adjacent side, that is the side tapad with your angle of reference. And in this situation, that is your side B. Now, how about if I'm gonna change my angle of reference with angle B, this angle here? What is your hypotenuse? Very good. Still, that is your side C. Now, how about your opposite side? As you can see here, your opposite side changes as your angle of reference change. In this case, that is now your side B. And lastly, the adjacent side, we have here the side A. All right, another lesson discussed in your Module 1 is the 6 basic trigonometric ratios. Now, I want you to recall the 3 primary ratios because you're going to use this one as we go along with problem solving. So, what are those? First, we have the sine ratio. Second, cosine ratio. And lastly, that is your tangent ratio. Now, when we say sine ratio, The formula for that is opposite side over your hypotenuse. And when we say cosine ratio, that is adjacent over your hypotenuse. And lastly, tangent ratio, that is opposite over your adjacent. So once again, I want you to be familiar with these ratios because you're going to use this one as we solve problems involving angles of elevation and depression. Next, let's have first your calculator check. And of course, we are going to set it out into the degree mode. So I am expecting that you have your calculator in your study table right now. Come on, let's set it up. All right, so here's my scientific calculator, and we're going to set it up into the degree mode. Okay, first, we're going, of course, to turn it on. So press on, and then after that, this is what you're going to do for us to set it out into the degree mode. First, you click the icon shift. That's one. And then after that, you click the mode or setup. After you click, this will appear in your screen. So we're looking for the word deg. That means degree. So in my case, that is number 3. So what you're going to do, you simply click number 3. And your calculator is good to go. Alright? Let's now have the first problem on angles of elevation and depression. A tree that measures 12 meters is 14 meters away from a certain point in the ground. What is the angle of elevation of the point to the top of the tree? So the first thing you're going to do if you're given with a word problem is of course to illustrate the situation. That is for you to visualize what are the givens and at the same time what you're looking for. So in our problem, we're given with a tree and there is a certain point that is away from a tree. So suppose that this is your tree. And accordingly, that is 14 meters to a certain point on the ground. So suppose that this is your ground. You have there, and there is this point that is 14 meters away from the base of the tree. Now, in our problem, the height of the tree is 12 meters. And the distance from this point to the base is 14 meters. The question is, what is the angle of elevation of this point to the top of the tree? So as you can see here, after we connect the different 3 points that we are able to make a right triangle. The question is, we are asked to find the measure of this angle of elevation. So suppose that we let that angle to be the angle theta. And we set this angle to be our angle of reference. Now what side is 12 and what side is 14? Considering once again that this is our angle of reference. This is very good. This is our opposite side. And this one is our adjacent side. So since we're given with opposite and at the same time adjacent, and we're looking for that angle, which is the angle of reference in this scenario, what ratio is applicable? Is it the sine, the cosine, or the tangent? This one is the tangent ratio. It's because we're given with the opposite, which is 12, and the adjacent, which is 14. So you have here, tangent of theta is opposite over adjacent. So Since we're looking for the theta, so we simply copy tangent of theta, and then we replace opposite with 12m, and then adjacent, which is 14m. So here, we can cancel out m and m. So that's going to be 12 over 14. Now, in this situation, we're looking for an angle. And this is the rule if you're looking for an angle. You have to shift your calculator. Okay, let's have our calculator. Sige, you get your calculator now. And let us input this one all together. You have here, so as what I said, you have to press shift and then the given ratio, which is tan, and then you have here 12 over 14. So you have 12 over 14. And then you close. Okay, so let's click the equal symbol. So you have here 40.6 something. So the theta value here is equal to 40.6 and something. Now, for uniformity purposes, I want you to round it off to the nearest degree, meaning whole number. So since this is 40.6 here, this is approximately equal to 41 degrees. And that is the measurement of our angle of elevation of this point to the top of the tree. Is that clear? All right. So that's it for today's lesson. I hope you've learned from this video and feel free to pause, replay for those sections that is not yet clear for you. Have a good day and God bless us all.